Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. I want to start with this, Sweeney. So the score here is 47-29. Virginia went a full 52 minutes of real actual lifetime, not game time, real actual lifetime, 9:48 p.m. until 10:40 p.m. without scoring a point tonight. This is looking like one of the worst decisions the committee has ever made. Big picture, how much can we take out of one performance like this and draw conclusions for something that a decision the committee made based off an entire body of work? Everyone has bad nights. How much can we actually take out of this?
Look, I think the issue with this is that the main reason that everyone said we should leave Virginia out was not resume related, right? Like people didn't sit there and say, I actually think that Virginia's got a lack of quad one wins or their record in the top two quadrants aren't good enough, right? People said Virginia shouldn't be in the tournament because they don't look like an NCAA tournament team, and if it's close, like this team does not pass the eye test, right? So them coming to Dayton and obviously 10 minutes to go, but very clearly through 30 minutes, not past the eye test, right? Like, I mean, that's an issue, right? And so I think it's something that, obviously, a very unique case. I mean, Virginia has been historically bad when they've been bad this year. I mean, this is a all-time bad offensive performance in the tournament game. That being said, like, I do think it's something that, like, trust your eyes if you're the committee, right? Like, your eyes told you that Virginia did not have a better chance to advance than a St. John's or Seton Hall or Providence or even team like Indiana State or Pittsburgh, teams that were further down the list, right? Like Oklahoma. Like, I think at some point, and again, I know this is why we've seen people say we need basketball people on the committee, right? I still think the numbers matter, but when it's close, right? Like, something like this should be a reminder that, like, if they don't pass the eye test, it's probably for a reason.
Let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, Splash Sports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all.
Yeah, they were 54 in the net. They were 2-7 against quad one opponents, so it's not like they had the best resume in the world. And according to my sources, they ranked 332nd on Tyler Palm, which is the one metric that you need to pay attention to. Tyler, here's my question. All right. And Sweeney, I want you to weigh in on this too. Tony Bennett, when he is at his best, has a team full of guys that he's developed over 3 or 4 years into All-Americans, into potential NBA draft picks that understand how to guard the pack line, that understand kind of running the blocker mover and the continuity ball screen that he wants to run, right? That have been drilled into what they want to do at Virginia. And we saw it in the 2019 team. They were elite offensively. They were ruthless. In this era, in the portal era, where players are going to move, or they're not going to stay for 3 or 4 years, where they probably don't want to sit here and play this kind of an offense 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons long. Does he have to change? Like, do you need to play a different way to be able to make this work in the year 2024 in college basketball?
For me, I've always thought, regardless of who Tony Bennett really has, and he's had some really good, talented players, I've always thought his style makes him or vulnerable to getting beat. And the reason I say that is because they play a slow, methodical style. And if teams get out to an early lead on Virginia, usually they're not forced to really kind of hurry up their offense and play from behind. And it forces them to play with a little bit of pace, which they don't like doing. And honestly, the eye test for Virginia has never been pleasing to watch. It's a difficult style that slow it down, take a good shot. I mean, I like to see fast-paced basketball, especially as a spectator. But I do think that, in the portal era, if he's not going to get high talent or people that's necessarily going to buy into his concept fully, it's going to be difficult to win like this especially if it's difficult to win when he has his players that he's especially developed through the years. But the other thing I will say is this is a whole new roster for him. Not a lot of these guys have really been there, and we knew before the season started that this was going to be a challenge for Bennett from the start.
Sweet.
Yeah. Look, I think the problem that Virginia has is there was a stretch there where they were just out evaluating everyone, right? Like their hit rate with high school kids was unreal, right? I mean, they were turning red shirts into NBA draft picks, and they were, everybody got better in the Virginia system. You could count year over year that guys were going to continue to improve. And now that you don't have that continuity, and like I think they've missed on some else, right? Like, look, K.A. Clark had a great career at Virginia. He also did not get better to the level that they needed him to, right? He didn't become a Ty Jerome. He didn't become, a London Parentes level point guard. He stayed who he was. And, I think they've run into similar stuff. I mean, do we really think Reese Beekman has gotten that much better, right? Like, yes, he's improved. Yes, he's more of a factor offensively today than he was as a freshman. But these guys have not taken off over 3 and 4 years the way that Virginia used to. And so now it's challenging because you have to get away from who you are and go recruit the portal. Well, I don't imagine Tony Bennett's the type of guy that wants to be promising dollar figures and X amount of playing time and this and that, right? The way that the game is played now in recruiting, he doesn't want to do. And he's been able to withstand that for the most part. But like when you put a product like this on the floor and you realize that coming back next year, you're going to lose Reese Beekman, your best player. You're going to lose Ryan Dunn, your most impactful defender, and really one of the big part of why your team's been successful. We'll see what happens with guys like McNeely and whatever. Hopefully those guys come back, but if they don't, right, like you're going to have to be very aggressive in the portal. And I almost wonder, like Wisconsin this past spring is kind of an interesting parallel where they went out and got AJ Storr, and it was like, all right, like yeah, we're going to still be Wisconsin, but we need a dude. And I wonder if Tony Bennett will bend enough to go get a dude this spring, because I think they need one or two guys who can just flat out put the ball in the hoop. Otherwise, I just think it's going to be really hard to maintain, to build and maintain the elite program that Virginia has been for a long time.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And it's the Wisconsin parallel. To me, doesn't necessarily work because Wisconsin basically brought everybody back from last year's team to the point that a guy that averaged 11 points per game as a freshman in Connor Esigian is now coming off the bench and spent a while at the start of the year barely playing. So if all of these guys came back and all Tony had to do was go out and add like one or two quality pieces in the portal, yeah, I could see that happening. But that's not the way that it works right now, and that's not the way that's going to work for Virginia this season.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.